Well, I was looking for a prize for my new league, a belt or a ring or a nice trophy. My IDP guys went and had my back. The best swag online for champs is found on Trophy Smack. R-I-N-G, that spells ring. TrophySmack.com has the bling. Good, so good, I have to sing. Go and check them out, they have everything. I can show that I'm the master of my craft. I'm a champion in fantasy and I won't let you forget that. R-I-N-G, that spells ring. TrophySmack.com has the bling. Use promo code IDPGuys at checkout for a free ring on TrophySmack.com.
All right, welcome, boys and girls, to another episode of the IDP Plus podcast. That ad you just heard from the very own returning co-host Matt Record at MRecord21, and look at that bling he's got with it right there.
What's this?
For the
it's
Trophy
Smack belt. That's definitely heavier than you'd expect. It's legit. Go
awesome.
out there and get one of these things. We love the guys and gals over there at Trophy Smack, so definitely support them as they've supported us.
Yes, sir. Yeah, I have one of those belts as well, and the belts are like, obviously the trophies are a 10 out of 10, but the belts, like, especially if you're a wrestling person or even if you're not, but like the belts are like a billion out of 10. Like, they're so cool. So definitely encourage anyone, if you're looking for a unique reward for your leagues, then I couldn't recommend the belts like enough. And if you use that good old IDP guys code, then you get a free little Super Bowl ring. You can give them the Nick Castellanos Red October, the ring finger here, as well on top of it. So you know, what else could you ask for there?
Heck yeah. Also, hi friends. I feel like it's been a minute. I feel like I haven't been here for many reasons. Excited to be back. My Pats won, so like vibes were high all weekend. The Eagles had a nice decisive victory too, so we're in good spirits here. Maybe a little tired because Steve was at the game. It's exciting. But yeah, no, vibes are high. Let's get into it. Also, if you're watching us on YouTube, like and subscribe to this channel, comment on everything. It really helps us out. Really appreciate it. And if you're listening to us via whatever podcast platform you listen to us, thanks for being here. We appreciate it.
Absolutely. Yes, the vibes are high despite running on just about empty fuel wise from an energy standpoint, but my man Matt is back here to provide the high energy. So we're gonna get right into it. So week 7, right? We made it to we're almost at the halfway point here already, which is kind of crazy to think about. So
it's nuts to think about Scott Fish Bowl only being 6 more weeks of the regular season, which like it just happened so fast.
Scary.
Like 7 weeks through, it's like, oh, we're a couple weeks away from being halfway done. We just started.
All right, we're gonna jump into last Thursday's game, the Jaguars and the Saints. We had a couple really nice IDP games you can see at the top here, and then it kind of trails off pretty quickly. So, of course, for our guy Foye Oluokun, a pick 6, 14 total tackles, just an absolute monster game, doing what, we know that this is his ceiling. So, awesome game from him. We had the 2 corners, Paulson Adebo and Trey Herndon, have really nice games. Trey Herndon on only 68% of the snaps, but had really nice boosted scoring with our cornerback inflated scoring. Devin Lloyd returns to 99% of snaps. And then on this list, you will not see Chad Muma yet again. So, especially in your redraft, I think it's safe to go back and get Devin Lloyd for sure. He had 11 total tackles, just 5 of them solo, but also had a pass defended again on 99% of the snaps. And of those defensive snaps, there were 90 available. So I'm actually a little bit surprised that there aren't more Jaguars like giving us, like, I would say, like, more, not monster, but stronger scores on here, considering it was 90 defensive snaps. That's got to be one of the highest we've seen so far this year. So yeah.
Yeah, it's so many freaking games, or so many snaps. Sorry. It's just a lack of splash plays. Like the tackle floors there are pretty heavy, sort of across the board. But yeah, not a whole lot of splash plays. But yeah, looking at this game, pretty much. I mean, the Jaguars. I think we always say this. Like, we might as well put this on a freaking shirt for us. Like, you know what to expect. It's like the stars played like stars, right? Like Foye crushed it. Devin Lloyd, back to that snap share, back to crushing it. There's no one else we like truly super trust on the Jaguars, right? You look at Josh Allen, like we know he started off hot and we're all rooting for him to succeed, but the defensive end's tough. He got the 80% snap percentage, but just didn't get home, and we're looking for other players there in the Jaguars, especially the defensive line to sort of stand out, and they just haven't done it consistently, which is a little unfortunate. And then you go over to the Saints, and the normal names there aren't necessarily at the top. Carl Granderson, 88% snap percentage, very nice game there. Tackle for loss, 5 or 6 combined tackles. But your Pete Warners of the world, doing Pete Warner things, right? Playing 100% of snaps. Oh, that's actually pretty nice. That's pretty rare. But only five solo tackles. That's nothing to get super excited about.
No.
I don't know. There's not a whole lot of these teams that I feel super confident in any given week. So I don't know. Just it seems like a pretty classic London game.
Yeah, the guys that we were really disappointed in, Josh Allen, just the 6 points on 80%, 2 kind of down games for him. Now, neither were great matchups for defensive ends against both Buffalo and New Orleans here. So you kind of he's going to be extremely lumpy. So I would certainly play him in the really good matchups. But I mean, some people have him as like a must start DN, not me. The more I look and dive into these matchups, and like they're not going to be right 100% of the times, but like I'm seeing a nice little trend where like, if it's a bad matchup for fantasy points, I'm talking about fantasy points given up to the position, which we break down for you every week in our written content, only to subscribers for the website, just FYI. But we break all this down, and I am seeing a nice little trend where this fantasy points given up by position is kind of holding true week to week. So again, another not great matchup here for Josh Allen of the Jaguars. Cameron Jordan just continues to disappoint. 95% of the snaps here, and just the 4 points on 2 assists. No solos, no QB hits, no sacks. Like, I mean, he's definitely droppable in redraft. Carl Granderson is that dude right now. He's playing and showing that he was deserving of that contract. And sometimes just age comes for these guys, and it seems like that might be the case for Cam Jordan here. Trying to think. Oh, Brian Breesy, he was a good matchup for DTs this week, but they just rotate so much. You can see a lot of the New Orleans DTs listed here. Kalen Saunders, Nathan Shepard, like all low points, but all like 40 and 50% of snaps. So it's really just tough to count on any of them, and they're going to be very spiky week to week. So,
and I misspoke. Yeah. This game felt like a London game. It wasn't. This was Thursday.
Oh, night. This was the Thursday.
It was that long ago. Yeah, sorry, listeners. It was just like, this was seen forever. Oh, because it was Thursday. I do think of note. I know you don't like Pete Warner. He definitely has his lack of splash plays, but just look at the snap percentages for the linebackers for the Saints. Like Demario Davis, looking through him here, played 73%, right? Meanwhile, Pete Warner did play 100%. So I think there is a changing of the guard there. I think he's going to be given the Fred Warner equivalent of like just lower your expectations to a realistic amount. Like he's not going to be a top 10 guy. He's going to give you a tackle floor. So he's definitely worth playing, right? But he's not going to be that top 10 guy that's going to explode, right? Which means next week he will. But like he'll give you that tackle floor. He'll be a top 20, top 30 guy, probably just in leagues, especially that, prioritize tackles less than the splash plays. So there's a bit of a change in the guard in the play time, but only 56 snaps. Like that's what a lopsided game that was for snaps.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, if you're telling me Pete Warner versus Demario Davis, I'll definitely take Pete Warner over Davis in a heads up battle. But I'm just not a big fan for especially for Dynasty. We play so much Dynasty. Like I'm trying to unload Warner. If you could find a truther to take a second round pick for him, like we'll give you a second round pick, that would be fantastic. Or even honestly, I would take like a few thirds even, or like a third and a, Trenton Simpson, like younger type guy. So that's more of a dynasty take. And redraft, he's just very meh. The last guy I just wanted to point out here, Dwayne Smoot, the defensive tackle. has returned from injury. So his snaps are slowly ramping up. You can see he was up to 52%, which for a D tackle on a heavy rotated line, that's pretty good. And his ceiling is really great. So we talked about him in our written article. So if he's DT eligible in a DT required league, definitely someone I wanted to point out and talk about. I play on RSO, and I went to go see if he was available. He was, but he's a freaking linebacker on there, which is just absolutely egregious position designation there. So yeah, if he's eligible as a linebacker on your platform, no thank you. But as a defensive lineman or a defensive tackle, especially in a defensive tackle required league, definitely a name I want you guys to remember there. So all right, the next thing I'm going to flip to here and filter down the blowout, Detroit and Denver. So yeah, the Lions go into Baltimore and just get crushed. And we had a good amount. So let's see, the 100% snaps was 75 for Baltimore. So there were a lot of snaps available. For Detroit, it was just 60. So yeah, Detroit players are kind of lacking up here. So you see this overall was kind of a crappy IDP game with the blowout going on. So Ravens corner Arthur Maulet reigns supreme at 24.5 points on just 80% of snaps on the back of a sack there, and some really nice tackles, 8 total, 7 solos. So interesting that Maulet took over the scoring for. We've seen Brandon Stevens having his breakout, and he's still down here, had a pretty nice game, 12.5 points on 89%. So he did play slightly more snaps than Maulet, but for whatever reason they chose to send Maulet after the quarterback, and he got home. So Kyle Van Noy after him. He's a linebacker on MFL. He's probably more of a edge rusher at this point in his career, and he did get 2 sacks in this game. So 19 points on just 44%. I really wouldn't go chasing that unless you're super desperate or in a best ball league. Kirby Joseph for the Lions, the safety, 19 points on 92% of snaps. No splash plays, but 10 tackles, 9 of them solo. So really nice tackle floor there for Kirby Joseph. Definitely playing, he was having some health issues earlier in the season. So definitely worth a pickup in your, playing 2 to 3 defensive backs plus maybe some flexes. Should definitely be rostered there. The Justin Madubuike breakout continues. The young defensive tackle for the Ravens. 3 solo tackles, but a sack, 2 QB hits, and a forced fumble for 15 points on 53% of snaps. Again, for a rotational defensive tackle, that's really good, and he's having a really nice season. Still kind of matchup dependent. This was a good matchup as we dug into in our written article for subscribers only. So we did recommend him as a play this week, and very nice that he got a sack. There's Roquan with 15 points. Only 89% of the snaps, assuming he got yanked due to the blowout there. Geno Stone plays in relief yet again of Marcus Williams and continues to, be his scorers buoyed by these big plays. So only 3 solo tackles, but a pass defended and an interception for 14 points, played 100% of snaps. Kyle Hamilton right below him, 14 points, only 89% of the snaps. Mostly all tackles for him. Odafe Owe comes back from injury and gets home with a sack, along with 2 solos, an assist, a QB hit, a forced fumble for 13 points on 53% of snaps. Not bad for the edge rusher that had been banged up most of the year. I talked about Brandon Stevens. There's Tracy Walker for 12 points on 98% of snaps. Another guy I'm interested in. I did read that Chauncey Gardner-Johnson has a long shot chance to return this season, but until he does, both Tracy Walker and Kirby Joseph, I think, are viable plays in deeper leagues as safeties or defensive backs. Patrick Queen, who I think got injured a little bit, but still played 89%. I guess maybe got yanked for the blowout. 10 points, just 5 solos. So that was the floor game for Queen this week. Marlon Humphrey shows up for 10 points also on 89% of snaps. Aiden Hutchinson, just 9 points on 90% of snaps. Not a great matchup against the elusive Lamar Jackson. And Alex Anzalone, 3 solos, 3 assists, nothing else for 9 points. Did play 100% of snaps. So, I'll jump down here. We're only touching on guys that scored around double-digit points here. So, but Brian Branch returned to a very disappointing game, just 50% of the snaps, just 5 points, 2 solos, and a TFL. So we kind of hope that's probably injury related, probably a slow ramp up. So tough to maybe continue starting him, I guess, going forward. But, you might want to just play it safe with Branch. He does possess that really high ceiling. So I know, you take a gamble here of missing out on a big game if he is healthy and ramps those snaps up. But you do make yourself susceptible to a 5-point game like this. So who do you got, Matt? Do you want to keep talking about?
Yeah, I mean, I think the thing that we have yet to say that is worth noting, and we warned you about this, week 7. Look at that Jack Campbell snap percentage. Yeah, that's 90%. That is 90%. Did that translate in this game to fantasy points? Absolutely not. Which is why we didn't talk to him. Only 5 fantasy points. But with someone as talented as him, we've been waiting for him to get that snap percentage. And then once he's going to be out there, they're not going to take him off the field, I don't think. Like, because that is too much of a snap percentage to say, oh, he's just getting snaps in a blowout. Like, no, he was playing. Like, he was playing from the get-go while it was still a game. So for those of you in Dynasty, obviously this is, you don't have to play him, but like you love to see him get that kind of play time. For those of you in redraft who are maybe looking for a bye week fill-in, like it's going to be matchup dependent. Getting that much snap percentage at the linebacker position, he's going to put up points. Like he's just going to. Granted, we know he's kind of like a Pete Warner type, where it's like we kind of expect it just to be mostly tackles, right? Like mostly tackles, like not a whole lot of splash plays from what we saw from him in college. But this is very, you're not going to find someone in redraft with a 90% snap share. Like you're just not going to potentially available on waivers. So go out and get him if you're looking for a bye week fill in. I think brighter days are ahead for him. Otherwise, I think it's worth noting pretty much any Baltimore Raven that you see at 89%, that seems to be the percentage that they just took people out, right? Like, I don't think it's a coincidence that Roquan and Kyle Hamilton and Patrick Queen all were at 89%. It's like that. They pulled them at a certain point. I mean, you love the floors of those linebackers. Again, for y'all in shallower leagues who are maybe like, oh, Patrick Queen only scored 10. That's just a great floor. Great floor for him. Hamilton kind of returned to form there too a little bit. You love to see that. Roquan doing Roquan things. So you're starting all of them. I have this soft spot for defensive tackles. So you see the Travis Jones, like, oh, you scored 6 points. That's cute. Only 47%. I keep it's like Fetch from Mean Girls. Like I keep wanting Travis Jones to happen, and he just hasn't yet happened. But no, I don't know. I think this game was an anomaly. Just from the fact that the Ravens just came out and absolutely crushed the Lions, right? So I don't try to learn too much from here, other than the pretty standard advice that we normally give. People at the top that don't have the snap percentages, you're not going to trust them to do that again. Kyle Vanoy, leave him on the waivers. I guess the only anti-example of that, Justin Matabuke has had a very nice year. Even just 53% of defensive snaps, especially at the defensive tackle. Like very rarely do you get someone that gets a whole bunch of snaps at the defensive tackle spot. But Justin M, because I don't know how to pronounce his last name, has just been doing this the entire year. So if you're looking for someone streaming at the defensive tackle spot, especially if you're playing in some freaky leagues like we are, where you're starting 2 or 3, it's like, go ahead and start him with some confidence, because he keeps doing it.
Absolutely. Your Travis Jones issue is kind of how Matabuke was coming, because I think Matabuke is in his 4th year or so. This is Travis Jones' 2nd. Everyone wanted Matabuke to be the guy right out of the gate, and he just kind of slow start, and he's finally getting into it now. I feel like the same thing is going to happen with Travis Jones. He's
and defensive tackles, they take so long to the edge get into their body. Like we're going to talk about DeMarvin Leal, right, with the Steelers, who's also a second-year player. And he's finally starting to show some flashes. It just takes some time. It just takes time.
Yeah, so Travis Jones will get there. He's and you're again in a 53-man contract league. Travis Jones is someone I hopefully can stash on the back of my roster there. So, all right, we're gonna do the Bears and the Raiders now. Kind of a surprising game. Tyson Bagent, the undrafted rookie quarterback, takes care of business at home. I did this to myself. I said in one league, I was like, let me pick up the Raiders defense just in case. Team defense, of course. I only did it to myself in just one league, thankfully. I was like, let me hedge my streaming defenses this weekend. Of course, I get rewarded with the UDFA dropping 30 points on the Raiders' head, although I guess one of them was a defensive touchdown, but
Sure.
So 23 points, we'll call it. Still, kind of crazy. But so yeah, Jalen Johnson on the Bears side returned an interception for a touchdown and had another interception on top of it. So a gigantic game, 32.9 points on 100% snaps. Now this is kind of annoying because I believe he was playing basically the let me just, before I say this, confirm it. I want to say the slot role because no, Kyler Gordon had the slot role. Okay. So what he was so just as a normal secondary corner, Jalen Johnson had the 2 picks, but just 2 solos, 1 assist, 2 passes defended. So basically this is just another guy like that we're warning, like, nice game, great player to have in a best ball league, but you can't chase this and you can't expect it going forward. Like the second corner on the Bears is never going to, continue to produce like this. So, nice little game and story there, but that's probably going to be the best game of his career from a fantasy standpoint. So do not chase that. Tremaine Edmonds, all right, takes one for the win column against TJ Edwards this week. So yeah, this was the biggest discrepancy we've had between them all year. So 24 points for Edmonds on 6 solos, 2 assists, 2 pass defended. He got an interception as well for 24 points on 100% of snaps. I'll jump down to TJ Edwards. TJ only 2 solos. What happened, TJ? 4 points on 92% of snaps. So I'm not sure if we ran into an injury issue there. Gonna have to research that, or maybe just about, these things can happen when you've got 2 really good linebackers. So
yeah, and the 92%, like don't fade him. Like keep playing him.
Yeah.
He'll be just fine.
Yeah. So I think it's like 2-5 right now, Edmonds to TJ. So we're going to try to catch back up here because my preseason take was I was team Edmonds over TJ, not looking great, but hey, long season. Tyreek Stevenson, the other Bears corner, 22.5 points on 100% snaps. So despite Kyler Gordon, essentially returning from injury, you don't see him. He did have a nice game as well, 14 points, but just 75% of snaps playing that slot role. So he's still, not out there for 100% of snaps quite yet. But yeah, Gordon 7 tackles on 4 solos. So I think he still possesses the highest like ceiling and consistency out of all 3 of those corners that I just mentioned there. So I still want Kyler Gordon over them, but this, sometimes the games just break out this way. Jaquan Brisker finally, comes to life with 21 points, 9 solos, 1 assist, 1 pass defended on 100% of snaps. So nice to see him returning to the stud category of fantasy point scoring this week. Justin Jones, the defensive tackle on the Bears, pretty much the only interior guy that's worth a damn. Had a nice little game on the back of a sack, 13 points on 66%. We've mentioned him both on the show and in the written content as a nice little streamer for your DT required league. So Max Crosby gets his sack, only 2 solos, 3 assists. Does have a TFL and a QB hit to go along with the sack. So 13 points on 97% of snaps. Hey, that's as funny as this is, that's a floor game for Max, and that's awesome.
Yeah, it's crazy watching him play. Like you're just waiting for it. I mean, him and like Micah Parsons. earnestly. Like, well, and Myles Garrett, which we'll talk about, had a freaking monster game. But just hi, Cat.
Oh no.
I think I'm still connected there.
Yeah, you're good. You're
good. Little Moog will make an appearance. You're just waiting like the entire game. It's like he's gonna get his somehow. He's gonna make an influence somehow, and I'm
for sure.
It's just fun to have on your team.
Absolutely. Big Bob Spillane, 5 solos, 3 assists, nothing else. So 13 points, 86% of snaps. Marcus Peters at corner, 2 solos, 5 assists, and a pass defended, 12.5 points, 100% of snaps. So still a good streaming corner, despite a seemingly bad matchup against the rookie quarterback. But Tyree Wilson makes an appearance with a 1 solo, 1 assist, and gets a sack, 2 QB hits, and forced a fumble. So a nice little game from the rookie. Maybe this is a breakout. 12 points. Never mind, 39% of snaps. So do not chase this. Nice to see for your dynasty to see him show some life here this season. But hey, do not go chasing this in your shallower redraft leagues because 39% of snaps and he's not giving you a sack and a forced fumble every game. It's more like the 1 tackle, 1 assist is kind of his ceiling. Trevon Merrick, the safety for the Raiders, 5 solos, 2 assists, nothing else. 12 points, 100% of snaps, continues to be a solid safety streamer. David Long, the corner for the Raiders, 12 points, 100% of snaps. Luke Masterson for so I believe Divine Diablo had went down with injury in this game. So Masterson is your fill-in, 3 solos, 2 assists, 1 pass defended, 62% of snaps versus Diablo's 4. He was off to a nice start too, 4 solos on just 25% of snaps. So, we'll monitor Diablo's status, but if you need a 1-to-1 replacement, your waiver wire pickup is, of course, Luke Masterson there. So that's a pretty clear, easy one for this week. So as I scan the rest of the names, we talked about Edwards. I don't see a whole lot. Yannick Ngakoue, man, this was a decent matchup too. So after, he gave us a nice
1% of snaps too.
But this is what he does. This is his calling card, right?
Certainly is.
Yeah. So I don't see a whole lot of other names. So if you want to dive in on anyone there.
Yeah, my main takeaway, obviously another just interesting game. Like the fact that the top 5 scorers were from this game, 6 were Bears, of which many were in the defensive backfield. Like, man, cornerbacks are just a tough thing to frickin' predict too.
Yeah.
But no, other than that, I mean, you mentioned Trevin Moehrig, and I was the biggest hater of him because he did not perform for the first 2 years he was in the league. Granted, he kept playing 100% of defensive snaps, but that never yielded IDP success. He is the 10th ranked safety right now in the scoring in our leagues. So I'm at the point now where he's not just a streamer. Like I've been convinced. I mean, it took me 7 weeks, so probably a little longer than it should have. It's like, the other shoe's gonna drop, like he's gonna stop performing. Nope, I don't know if they changed schemes or what, but he is now performing pretty consistently every heck of the week. So go out and get him. Like, I don't think the top 10 defensive back status. I will still hold on to that take a little bit. I don't know if that's gonna persist, but is he a DB2, DB3 the rest of this year? I think so. From what we've seen. So go out and get him for sure. The Raiders cornerback, I want to talk about Nate Hobbs. Did he not play in this game?
Yes, he missed another game. It's very annoying too, especially for like my sleeper leagues. He keeps going questionable, so I'm stuck, not being able to make a waiver move until essentially game day for the past I think 3 weeks now. This has been like this, where he goes questionable all throughout the week and then out on Sunday. It's very, very annoying, and I really want him to come back because he could kind of consolidate a lot of these cornerback points that are being spread out right now for the Raiders.
100%. So monitor that. I mean, the other thing is you kind of already mentioned it. Tyree Wilson, you love to see it. We kind of prioritize some splash plays. So I like seeing him up there, but 39% of snaps played, you're not going to get that each and every week, So leave him in redraft, obviously leave him on the waivers. He's not going to be it. Then Divine Diablo, 25%. Did he get hurt?
Yes, he got hurt. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm not sure of the extent or what the actual injury was. Like I said, busy weekend for me. So we will have all this for you in the written content. But yeah, depending on the severity of his injury, right, the Masterson will be the replacement there.
Yep, 100%. I think that's
for your Trayvon Merrick question. Yeah, it's because he's not playing. I mean, previous years he was basically playing all free safety, so just not as many opportunities. This year, that role has gone to Marcus Epps, which is why you don't see us talking about him very much. Although this was actually one of his better games in a while, the 3 solos and 2 assists, and with nothing else. But Merrick is getting a lot more run. Yes, he is still playing some free safety, but he's getting a lot more run in the box as well as slot duties. So his opportunities have just gone through the roof with the alignments that they're using him on. So yeah, I think you're absolutely right. You know, he continues to be a strong option going forward here. Yeah, maybe he turns back into a pumpkin, but with this usage, I mean, it's hard to fade him at this point.
Well, yeah, and turning into a pumpkin, like he was truly scoring nothing. And he was playing 100%. Like, as free safety, like he graded very well. He just didn't score anything. So like this entire year is like waiting for him to stop. But he keeps looking at his scoring. Yeah, he has 1 game fewer than 10 points. And that 1 game had 7 points. So yeah, nice. I like him.
Excellent. All right, we're gonna flick to kind of a surprising shootout. Cleveland and Indianapolis Colts. So yes, we had the monster, another monster game from Myles Garrett on 9 tackles, 7 solo, 2 assists, a TFL, pass defended, 2 sacks, 2 QB hits, 2 forced fumbles, which are so important. Again, you should be scoring forced fumbles more so than fumble recoveries. 38 points on 77% of snaps. Just a total monster game. Right behind him, the ghost of Kenny Moore shows up with 31.5 points on 100% of snaps. 7 solos, 3 assists, 3 TFLs, 1.5 sacks, 2 QB hits. So Kenny Moore with a nice game. We saw Juju Brents go down in this one. I was crushed by that. He's been one of my favorite rookies this year, and I believe he left us with a 0 after leaving pretty early to injury. So not sure that had a correlation to Kenny Moore's usage and scoring here, but definitely provided some more opportunities. But interesting to see they used him in this pass rushing role in this particular game. So Zaire Franklin doing Zaire Franklin things, 21 points, 100% of snaps. He's an auto star. Julian Blackmon, a really nice game. 4 solos, 1 assist, 2 TFLs, 2 passes defended, and an interception for 21 points on, he has been playing 100% of snaps. So, he's been definitely an attractive option, and he, kind of just broke out in this one. Denzel Ward makes an appearance for fantasy scoring after some dud weeks on the back of an interception. So 20.5 points on 86% of snaps. Grant Delpit, a really nice game. Back to giving us what he was doing earlier in the year. 7 solos, 3 assists, a TFL. So that's 18 points on 100% of snaps. The Darius Smith decides to give us some life. 4 solos, gets home for a sack, 2 QB hits, a forced fumble as well for 17 points on 73% of snaps. So very nice. Now, nobody, probably reaped the benefits from this game unless you're playing best ball, which everyone should. That's a really great format. And you should adopt best ball scoring in pretty much any format of league that you play, so that when you have a Zadarius Smith game after pretty much 6 weeks of nothing, and you just, held on to him for this long, you deserve to get the scoring that he just did this week. So I don't know if I'm going to be able to trust that, going forward, if I'm comfortable throwing him into a lineup that I have to make that start-sit decision going forward, just because of, literally this is the first week that he's given us anything of worthwhile of the entire season. So kind of, just taking this as an outlier game for Zadarius on this one. Tony Fields, 17 points on just 46% of snaps. He had a scoop and score, so not really chasing that. But Sione Takitaki was out this game, so there were more opportunities for linebackers. But Anthony Walker is right behind him at 15 points. Did play 100% of snaps after pretty much disappearing in the snap count yesterday. So those situations are really frustrating. And then I'm going to hop down to JOK, Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah, only played 49% of snaps in the shootout. So not sure if there's an injury there. I'm not privy because I don't have a lot of JOK in leagues. So, not sure if Tony Fields 46% versus JOK's 49 is kind of just a rotation or possibly an injury. We'll definitely have to research that for you guys. Back up to the scores. Rodney Thomas, the Colts safety, hasn't been scoring a lot, but has been playing 100% of snaps. So gets an interception in this one, playing free safety duties, only one solo and one assist, with 2 passes defended. So I would not necessarily go. He's kind of like the Trayvon Merrick of years past this year. He's playing 100% of snaps, but his role is just so bad that he's not getting many fantasy opportunities. So I wouldn't really chase this, unfortunately. Juan Thornhill, 5 solos, 2 assists for 12 points on 100% of snaps. So he's a nice little streaming option if you're desperate. DeForest Buckner gets back to double digits for 3 solos, 2 assists, a pass defended, and a QB hit. So almost gets home for a sack, but 11 points, 92%. He's in your lineup every week, especially in defensive tackle leagues. Samson Ebukam, another decent game here. 3 solos, 1 assist, a TFL, pass defended, and a QB hit. So 11 points for him. 65% of snaps for a rotational edge rusher is nothing to sneeze at. So definitely worth consideration in some of your deeper leagues. Jordan Elliott, a Cleveland defensive tackle, on the back of a sack, 11 points, just 46% of snaps. Not really chasing that too much. My guy, Ogbenio Okoronkwo, 3 solos, 1 assist, a TFL, and a fumble recovery. So, hey, I'll take that for 11 points on 61% snaps. I still would rather start him on a week-to-week basis than Zadarius Smith right now. Just a personal preference there. Even though the snaps were lower, he just seems to be giving you more consistent production. So, hopping around, Shaq Leonard, 10 points, 72% of snaps. So I guess he's just going to be all over the place. We've talked about him ad infinitum. I mean, he is what he is at this point. I think he's washed, and you're only starting him if you're desperate. Kwity Paye, 4 solos, 1 assist. Would have been nice to see him get a sack, but hey, 9 points on 69% of snaps. Nice. So, Matt, I'll turn to you and see if there's anybody else you want to talk about from the list.
Yeah, I looked it up. JOK seemingly did not get hurt. I'm not seeing anything there. Just Browns doing Browns things with their linebackers. So who the heck knows who they're going to play each and every week? That's where he wasn't. But a couple weeks ago, where JOK, was leading the team in snap percentage. So who the heck knows what they're doing? Very frustrating from our perspective, but I'm sure they don't care. No, this game was just refreshing because everyone that you sort of were starting from either of these teams expected to do well pretty much did. The only person that didn't was probably JOK, and even he, 7 points, like that's, you're not starting him as anything more than LB3, LB4, and like that's fine. Like that's well within the realm of reasonable production, right? The only other one that came to mind is Shaquille Leonard, and he scored 10. Like I said, double-digit points. Like I don't know, it's just a very IDP friendly game, which is nice. And the snaps weren't even like crazy. Well, I guess 75 is a good. Well, 75 and 70. Never mind. Just kidding. Those are it's a little above average. But I don't know if we learned anything in this game other than the people that you want to be playing are the ones you're already playing, right? Like we try to be nuanced here on the IDP Plus podcast and just generally in the fantasy advice space. Like we want to tell you like be looking out for, well, actually Greg Newsome, actually not my example, but it's like, he played 99% and he didn't produce that much, but like that kind of play percentage, he's going to get up there, which yes, actually that's a good example. But like the rest of it, like, people that played a lot scored a lot. So it doesn't have to be any more complicated than that.
Yeah, these shootouts, right, are really nice for IDP purposes. So, for the most part, your studs did their thing, and you even got some, some nice surprise production from some of the fringe guys. So,
and again, don't rush out. Like, don't go get Tony Fields. Like, No,
Right.
his 40, like he's not going to repeat that. Zadarius Smith, again, perfectly fine defensive line 2, DL3. I don't know.
Yeah.
Ish. Like, I don't know. Like, yeah, we haven't really seen it very consistently with the Browns,
Yeah.
But yeah, it takes you all the way down to what, Samson Ebicom with 11 points at 65%. That's still really good. So I don't know. Keep on keeping on with these folks.
Yeah. Nothing crazy takeaways here. All right, I will flip our next game. Oh, I was gonna say, even between Zadarius Smith and like Agbo, like Myles Garrett's susceptible to like bad games too. Like it's just, these edge rushers and these defensive linemen are always going to be like this, even the elite guys. So it just kind of is what it is. So all right, our next game is Buffalo and New England. So this one I didn't really because I was traveling to the Birds game at the kind of the close of the 1:00 games and the beginning of the 4:00. So I wasn't super tuned into this game. So you'll have to guide me after I rattle off the names here. See if you have any major takeaways. So Jordan Poyer, 25 points on 100% snap. So on the back of a sack. 2 QB hits, 10 total tackles, 5 of them solo. So really nice game from Poyer there. Terrell Bernard continues to just, this is again why you can sometimes, now again, you have to hit the right linebackers, because if you punt on linebacker and don't hit Terrell Bernard, you might be stuck with a JOK. So as much as people can say, punt on linebacker, or you don't have to get the studs at the very top because guys like Terrell Bernard, well, you still have to ensure that you grabbed specifically Terrell Bernard and not any of these other jamokes who aren't doing anything. So as much as I sort of can subscribe to that type of strategy, you still got to hit the right guy. So really great for the people that did hit on Terrell Bernard. 9 solos, 2 assists, a TFL, and a fumble recovery, 24 points, 100% of snaps. Jabril Peppers, who has been a constant reminder for me, because he's CB eligible on some of these RSO contract leagues, which is money here. We had 22.1 points, an interception, 4 solos, 4 assists, pass defended, QB hit. So 22.1 points, 99% of snaps. So really great game for Peppers there. Dane Jackson, the Bills corner, played 100% snaps, 17.5 points, 7 solos and nothing else. But hey, for a corner, that's really great. JC Jackson continues to return in New England, 5 solos, a pass defended for 15 points, 90% of snaps. Nice little streamer potential there in corner required leagues. Kyle Duggar, this is one of his better games in a little bit. 7 solos and a TFL for 15 points. Plays 100% snaps. We have always known that, but the production just hasn't been there with these kind of wonky blowout games. So it's nice that, obviously nice that the Patriots won not only, but could keep their, stud defensive players in here for the whole game that they normally do. So nice. And now this is just, I don't know what to do. The linebacker 2 for Buffalo, it was Terrell Dodson, it was Dorian Williams immediately after Matt Milano went down. Terrell Dodson finished that game. Last week, it was Dorian Williams, and Terrell Dodson didn't see the field. And this week, here's Terrell Dodson, 5 solos, 2 assists, a TFL for 13 points, 52% of snaps. I'm going to jump right down to Dorian Williams, who had 3 solos, 2 assists, nothing else, for just 8 points on just 35% of snaps. So I don't know what the heck is going on. If Dorian Williams got injured, that maybe explains it. But if he didn't, then we're kind of in a Cleveland situation right now, at least for the LB2, where Terrell Bernard is your stud, but these other two, who freaking knows at this point? So kind of annoying, kind of frustrating there. Juwan Bentley, of course, does his thing. Only 2 solos, but 7 assists. So a nice little floor there, and a pass defended for 13 points, 99% of snaps. Teron Johnson, the Bills corner, 4 solos and a pass defended, 12.5 points, 100% of snaps. So it seems like Teron Johnson and Dane Jackson are the 100% snap guys. Did Christian Benford also played 100% snap. So it looks like this game was possibly, a lot of nickel. So the LB2 was probably getting rotated a lot, whereas all three of these corners played 100% of snaps. So there's kind of your storyline, I think, breakdown for why the LB2 role was a little bit volatile this week, with as much as the Patriots have been throwing lately, kind of by necessity, and having to keep up with the Bills' potent offense there. So I guess that sort of explains it. Anthony Jennings is basically new Matt Judon. So we've been telling you to grab him, and he has a nice game here. Still no sack. When that sack comes, he's going to start paying real dividends. But this is still a nice little floor. 5 solos, 1 assist, and a TFL for 12 points on 97% of snaps. So that's kind of really surprising to me to see a Patriots like edge rusher basically getting 97% snaps. I don't think Matt Judon has ever even played 97. He probably has, but Miles Bryant, the Patriots corner, 4 solos, 1 assist for 11 points, 76% of snaps. And Christian Barmore has another sack this week, the defensive tackle. So 2 solos, 1 assist, a TFL, the sack, and the QB hit for 11 points on 63% of snaps. That's nice. He's going to be the ultimate. If he doesn't give you a sack, you're going to be disappointed. But when he does, hey, a really nice game. So I'll flip it to you if there's people lower on the list that you want to talk about, or any of the top scorers that we talked about.
Yeah, so Dorian Williams was straight up benched. He was not injured. The first article says why he was benched for Tyrell Dodson. So I think the answer in Buffalo is you're not touching their second linebacker. You're just not doing it. It's Terrell Bernard, and that's it. That's all you're going for. Yeah. In general, this game script for both teams was pretty much ideal from an IDP perspective. There's just a healthy balance of rushing and passing the entire day, which kind of leads to, what you're seeing if you're watching on YouTube or, our stats here, where, a healthy balance of defensive backs and linebackers sort of leading the way in terms of fantasy points. And then, not a whole lot of sacks in this game. Well, I'm seeing two whole sacks. So, the defensive lines weren't super solid, but the things I want to talk about is sort of some of the players that we expected to do pretty nice things this year finally having one of those days that we sort of expected, right? So Jordan Poyer, he was my sleeper going in, just was healthily around the ball quite a bit. Jabril Peppers, again, like Steve said, he's been one of our he's getting those snaps right in the spots that where Kyle Duggar has been playing historically to be productive. So he's going to have a big game. That interception, great. Don't expect that, but no, he's a solid DB3 moving forward. Again, Duggar finally having that kind of good game. JC Jackson is really the main name from the Patriots from a waiver wire perspective. So since the Patriots went and traded for him, he's been getting just elite snap percentages, kind of replaced Christian Gonzalez. Obviously not as good or as exciting as Christian Gonzalez was for me personally, but he's getting the snaps. He's a perfectly fine cornerback streamer for you moving forward. And I think the other thing, my other main takeaway here, Gregory Rousseau, again, stop trying to make fetch happen. 50% of snaps doesn't really do a whole lot. I think I'm done with him in a redraft space, which probably you've been done with him for a minute, right? For those people that don't know names, but we keep waiting for him to really take that next step, and just really hasn't. And that 50% snap share, we've seen other folks out there that have similar snap percentages that perform more frequently, right? And Rousseau, just I'm thinking Justin M from the Ravens. They just do it right, in the rotation. But Rousseau, just I don't know. There's something just off with this Bills team right now, both on offense and on defense. So I think those are my main real takeaways from this game. As well as I'll keep hammering. Juwan Bentley is exactly who you want him to be every week, and that is an LB3, and that's it. And there's something nice about having that in your roster that you can just depend on him just to be pretty decent. Christian Barmore, obviously I'm more focused on the Patriots because of my allegiance, but Barmore has shown some really nice signs recently. He doesn't get the play time you necessarily want him to get, but he's starting to play like that player that you want him to. So he's not someone I'd go and start yet, but if you are in those ridiculously deep leagues and he's available, he's starting to show some signs of life.
Absolutely. Yeah, I want to you said the lack of stacks. This is something that we break down for our written content subscribers. Buffalo was only giving up the 25th and 30th most fantasy points to DTs and defensive ends, respectively. So this was a bad matchup, as well as New England only 13th and 12th. So, guys like Greg Rousseau, Leonard Floyd, Von Miller, even going forward, are completely matchup dependent. So unless we've got green in the opponents for DTs or DEs, I'm pretty much laying off them. So I just wanted to show that we are tracking that for you guys and recommending when start sits. And the entire Buffalo pass rushing group was a Hail Mary option this week, and pretty much will be unless they have green matchups going forward. So yeah, right on the money there. Did Von Miller he didn't even show up here. Did he play? But yeah, that's why you're going to see those guys, even including AJ Epinesa. He'd been hot, and then here he comes with 2 assists and a QB hit on 53%. Like, this is a gigantic rotation. It's going to be different guys every week. And again, unless it's like smash matchups, I don't really want to try to guess who that new guy is going to be every single week. So
Von Miller played 6 snaps.
Yikes. That's
6
interesting.
snaps.
I thought he was ramping up after a couple of weeks. So yeah,
Same.
Who knows? All right, our next game is the Giants and the Commanders. So this was a low-scoring affair, and we did have Cody Barton go down, so that's why you'll see him towards the bottom of the list there, and why you see David Mayo with 9 solos, 2 assists, including a couple of those were on special teams. So all that production on just 60% of the snaps. So depending on the severity of Cody Barton's injury, David Mayo could be a really nice waiver wire pickup there. At the top of the scoring list, though, we had Deonte Banks, the rookie corner for the Giants, have 23.6 points on 91% of snaps on the back of an interception, a pass defended, 2 assists, and 5 solos. So a really nice game for him. And he's definitely a streaming corner target going forward because he is playing a ton of snaps, and it's the Giants. So we had the defensive linemen decide to show up this week. Shocking, right? Against the Commanders, who just give up the most sacks, and Sam Howell takes the most sacks. So we had Dexter Lawrence, 2 solos, 4 assists at TFL, 2 sacks, 4 QB hits for 21 points on 75% of snaps. We told you to start pretty much all of these guys in the written content. Benjamin St. Juste, the Commanders corner, who we've been talking about all year, playing 100% of snaps. So he's a nice streaming option. He's not super consistent, but today was a ceiling game with 4 solos, 1 assist, 4 passes defended. So really busy breaking up passes, and those should be rewarded. That is an important stat. So 21 points on 100% of snaps. Talked about David Mayo. Our guy, Bobby Okereke, 7 solos, 4 assists, and a pass defended, 20 points on 100% of snaps. Love to see it. Both Chase Young and Montez Sweat get home. Chase Young 2 sacks, Montez Sweat 1. They each had some tackles, some TFL, some QB hits. So Young has 19 points on 90% of snaps. Montez Sweat 17 points on 71%. Really nice games from them. Jason Pinnock, the safety for the Giants, 4 solos, 2 assists, a TFL, a sack, a QB hit, 16 points on 100% of snaps. So nice little bounce back game from Pinnock. Kayvon Thibodeau shows up for 1 solo, 3 assists, a TFL, 1.5 sacks, 2 QB hits. That's 14 points on 99% of snaps. Leonard Williams, the defensive tackle, 2 solos, 1 TFL, got home for a sack, 2 QB hits. That's 14 points on 78% of snaps. So all the defensive line came to play in this one. Deron Payne right behind him, 2 solos, 2 assists, a TFL, a forced fumble, and a fumble recovery for 13 points, 85%. That was kind of saved his day there since he didn't get home for a sack. Beyond that, we saw Xavier McKinney play 100% of snaps, 10 points, but just 3 solos, 2 passes defended. So that kind of saved his day. Micah McFadden continues to be a nuisance to my Bobby O our Bobby O take of him, having a break. He's still having a really nice season. I believe he is top 10 at this point in points per game. So big will to, shout out the awesome IDP Facebook group who's kind of down on us for Bobby O. And Bobby O's rising to the occasion right now, just racking up those points. But Micah McFadden here does have 10 fantasy points on 62% of snaps on the back of a half of a sack to go with 2 QB hits, 1 solo and 4 assists. So it seems like McFadden is kind of that, like, it's almost like how Caden Ellis was last year when he came along. He's kind of like the big play, like sack guy. And I don't want to say Bobby O's like Pete Werner, but maybe more like Demario Davis, where he's still on the field a ton and still getting his stats, but like they aren't sending him after the quarterback, and he's not, getting the fumble recoveries and just all the good splash play stuff that McFadden is giving. So I'll turn it over to you.
Yeah, bad news for your Bobby O take. He's not top 10. He's top
close,
6,
right?
He's number 6, Steve. He's crushing it. He's number 5 in total points. 5 in total points. He's 6 overall in points per game.
Let's go.
We told you, folks. There were some people in the comments. You know who you were. They're like, yeah, Bobby O too high. It's like, no, he's going to crush it this year, and he has been crushing it. But yeah, I mean, takeaways from this game, this is a very similar game to one of those other games we just covered. Yeah, the stars you started crushed it. I mean, you want Jonathan Allen to do a little more from that defensive tackle position. Again, there's some pretty high variance there, 76% of snaps. He's going to get his eventually. You also want way more from Cameron Curl. Big downer of a game, but 100% of defensive snaps. I was just looking at it in terms of overall scoring in safeties, and even despite his poor showing there, he's still 5th in overall points. So you're still playing him. Obviously, you sometimes, these players are people too, and they have off days, and that's okay. But he got the snap percentage, and that's really all that matters. I think that the main negative takeaway, since I'm from New England, we have to go negative. Jamin Davis just not lived up to the potential he had this entire year. He played 99% of the snaps, which is exactly what you want him to do. And that was, taking over for Cole Holcomb. Like he sees the snap percentage, but for whatever reason, just has not performed. And I still think he's an LB3, LB4, like with that snap percentage, right? Like it's hard to find that. And he's definitely a hold if you have him. But I don't know. I might just poke around the waiver wire and see who else is there, because he just has not done it.
So Cody Barton, it appears high ankle sprain, which means he'll probably take the 4-week stint on IR, I would imagine. Give me David Mayo over Jamin Davis. Like, I give me the safety potential. Jamin Davis has been living off sacks this year, which is fine. But when he disappears, I mean, I guess 7 total tackles if you combine them is fine. But 5 of them were assists. Like he just isn't. I just fear that he's not very good.
Well, the thing is here is when you look for these opportunities when it comes from injury, you're looking for someone who has yet to have an opportunity who can make the most of it, right? And people are like, oh, Jamin Davis, of course he's going to absorb that role and be good. No, he's gotten this playtime the entire year. He just hasn't made anything of it. Like what you're looking for is the person that's going to take the spot on the defense, because they're not going to move Jamin Davis from where he's at.
Right.
Sure, the Commanders lost, but it was a dang good defensive game, right? They didn't. They gave up 14 points, right? Like, what are you gonna do? No, you're looking for someone like David Mayo who's going to take the role of the Cody Barton on that defense and put up those points, right? So, no, it's. I think I'm out. I think I'm out on Jamin Davis. And again, 9 points is fine. Again, you're not playing him anything more than LB3, LB4. But I'm looking for someone in that spot that can, flirt with the LB2 range a little bit. And he has not done it at all. And I think there's other players out there that can do that.
Yeah, I mean, if he adds a sack to the stat line, of course it, boosts him right up there, and it's a really nice game. But again, you're almost needing that sack, and like I hate guys like that where like I want the nice floor, and then if the sack happens, it's just a an awesome like sweetener and, you know, goes from like 15 points to 22 points. Like that's the kind of jump that I want. I don't want this like single digits and I need the sack to get around 15 points. Like, no, thank you. So again, give me David Mayo. It looks like he's the replacement, pretty easy there. So yeah, he's your definite like waiver wire target from this game, I would say.
Also,
yeah.
Okay, shout out to any defensive linemen playing against the Commanders because you're
you just play them all.
Yeah, who are they playing next week? Let's take a quick little look see here. It's the Eagles. Who you're already going to be playing all those defensive linemen anyway.
Yeah,
but
Jalen Carter breakout 2.0
feast.
Very nice. My last thing I was going to say, if you're desperate for defensive back or safety help, Percy Butler is sort of the Derek Forrest replacement. He is playing 100% of snaps. Again, more of that free safety role. So not the greatest, you know, ceiling for opportunities, but he is playing 100% of snaps. Definite like desperate play. So if you're in like a contract league or something and you need a free agent Hail Mary, then Percy Butler might be that guy for you. So next game, we got Atlanta and Tampa Bay, a little top heavy. So Jamel Dean starts off with 26.5 points. The corner for Tampa Bay, 9 solos, 1 assist, and a fumble recovery for 98% of snaps. So he could be a nice little streamer here. But of course, this is a ceiling game and nobody played him, so don't go chasing it. Vontae David, back-to-back really nice games, 24 points on 100% of snaps. He got, 8 solos, 5 assists, a TFL, and a pass defended. So yeah, he's kind of crushing it right now. And this is what happens. We have a couple of Vontae David games. We hope that, especially the Devin White owners, hope that, we flip over to some good Devin White games here coming up in the near future. But so right now, the past couple have been all Vontae David. Richie Grant shows up for 5 solos, 3 assists, a pass defended, and an interception for 21.4 points, 100% of snaps. So it's again, similar to the Lamonte David versus Devin White. We have Richie Grant versus Jesse Bates this week, and it's a Richie Grant week. Nathan Landman continues to steal my Caden Ellis stats. I got rid of Ellis in some salary cap leagues. I just pivoted to other guys because I'm just sick of this Nate Landman. But 5 solos, 7 assists, and a forced fumble for 20 points on just 77% of snaps. So he's another waiver wire gold pickup right now. Shaq Barrett, the Bucs edge rusher, has a nice game. 4 solos, 3 assists, a pass defended, and a sack, and a forced fumble for 20 points on 66% of snaps. It's about average for his snaps. So, this was a good game, and he can also disappear. AJ Terrell, the corner, 3 solos, 2 assists, 3 pass defended for 17 points, 100% of snaps. This is a nice fantasy game for Terrell. He's usually not doing this. So although he plays 100% of snaps, he's more of this like shutdown type corner guy. So you're not really going to get these stats very consistently from him. Ryan Neal, the safety for the Bucs, has a nice game. 6 solos, 4 assists, nothing else. But hey, that's 16 points on 92% of snaps. Beats out his counterpart, Antoine Winfield, who had 4 solos, 3 assists, a pass defended, and a forced fumble, which was also 16 points on 98% of snaps. So both really good games from both of them. So, I said bested. He was just ahead of him. They had the same exact score. Jeff Okudah, the corner for the Falcons, he's the fantasy corner that I would be more interested in. 5 solos, 1 assist, a pass defended for 16 points, 95% of snaps. Really nice. Calais Campbell, hey, we said last week that, he just had his 100th sack of his career, and we're not going to expect that. But hey, he shows up again. Maybe he's getting some steam here. 1 solo, 3 assists, the sack, QB hit, and a forced fumble. So 13 points on 68% of snaps. I think he could be a streaming option if you're desperate in some DT required leagues. So, yeah, keep your eyes on him in plus matchups. David Onyemata, the other Falcons defensive tackle, a similar stat line, 1 solo, 3 assists, a TFL, a sack, 3 QB hits. That's 13 points on 58% of snaps. My guy, Caden Ellis, not a terrible game, but just the ceiling doesn't seem to be there this year. 5 solos, 1 assist, 1 TFL, and that's 12 points. Did play 100% of snaps. So this is what's just driving me nuts with these two. Ellis playing 100%, Landman playing 77. Landman's just getting all the stats. I don't know what's going on. It's really frustrating. Jesse Bates, has a decent enough game. 5 solos, 1 assist, nothing else. That's 11 points on 100% of snaps. And Joe Tryon Shoyinka in some places. The Bucs' other edge rusher, 4 solos, 2 assists, 1 TFL for 11 points on 69% of snaps. Nice. He's coming along with some consistency. This is a decent floor game if he didn't go home. He used to be a sack or bust guy, and in this one, he gives us some nice floor stats. So Devin White, unfortunately, kind of a dud. Just 3 solos, 2 assists, and nothing else. Playing 100% of snaps, which had 65 snaps available. So kind of a stinker for Devin White. Going to happen. So anyone else you want to touch on here?
No, I think you nailed it. You expect greater things from Devin White, but we kind of touched on him in the past. He's kind of an LB2 with you hope for the LB1 upside. He's yet to really do any of that at all this year. I still, even with these stinkers, I still think you play him as an LB3. Like if you get him, go play him, right? But in more shallow redraft leagues, he's just not doing it.
He's one of these guys. I used this phrase with Sean a lot last week. I think I'm going to use it more. Like he's unfortunately kind of like forcing you to start him because of the snaps that he plays, and we know what he can do. Right. And it's just really frustrating when he has games like this.
Right. So other than him, again the stars sort of went out for you. Like you like the Grant and Bates combo there at safety with Atlanta, and they performed adequately well. You might not predict which one's going to go off in any given week, but they're both putting up perfectly decent numbers from a fantasy perspective. Nice to see Shaquille Barrett get up there. I don't know if I fully trust that with the 66% of snap percentage. You could do far worse, obviously, if you're streaming, but I think that's very much matchup dependent there. I love me some Jeff Okudah. This is the first game in a minute, to my recollection. Granted, I've been traveling a whole bunch that he's played this kind of snap percentage. Like I feel like they've been easing him back from. He's perennially injured. He's always hurt. But 95%. To your point, if he's playing that much, and AJ Terrell is who AJ Terrell is, which is typically the more shutdown corner, Jeff Okudah is the fantasy relevant cornerback, and he was one of my sleepers going into this year. All he has to do is be able to play, and he's going to rack up points like this, right? And that's perfectly reasonable output for streaming a cornerback, right? So that's really nice. Disappointing snap percentage for Christian Izien there for the Tampa Bay cornerback, the rookie. He started the year with a bang. I think he got hurt at some point in the year. He just hasn't really lived up to where he started up. Again, rookie. It's okay. This is why you stream cornerbacks, right? You ride some hot hands. You ride different players, but just disappointing. I'm not mad. I'm just disappointed. You're probably not starting him, but for those of us in those deeper dynasty leagues, you got to pay attention to those folks. Other than that, pretty standard game from the people you'd expect to be pretty decent, other than the people that we talked about. So, keep playing everyone as you're playing them.
Absolutely. All right. What is our next game? Next game is going to be Pittsburgh and the Rams. So, we filter to those guys real quick here. All right. So we had that game. Let me check. How did that game? Pittsburgh squeezed out the win. We didn't have much IDP meat on the bone in this one, unfortunately. So our guy Michael Hecht, 4 solos, 3 assists, 2 TFLs, 2 sacks, and 2 QB hits and a forced fumble. So just a monster game. He's been, hovering around this kind of production all year. He's been playing decently. He was a nice sleeper that we liked. But this was a nice little breakout game for him. So 26 points on 93% of snaps. Without looking, I can pretty confidently say that's his highest snap count that he's seen all year long. Somebody can fact check me on that, but I'm pretty confident in saying that. He's been in like the 80s, like high 70s all year, which is why we've always kind of like, hey, he's a nice little, dart throw streamer if you need it, because he's playing the snaps just like his counterpart, the rookie Byron Young. So this just happened to be a heck game. Although Byron Young did okay too. After that, we drop off pretty significantly. So Minka Fitzpatrick, everyone knows, what he can do. 6 solos, 5 assists, nothing else. Would have been nice to have some splash plays in there, but 17 points, 100% of snaps. Kobe Durant, the Rams corner, 4 solos, 1 assist, a pass defended, a QB hit. That's 14.5 points on 100% of snaps. TJ Watt saves his day with just 1 solo, a pass defended, but an interception. So that's 12.4 points on 84% of snaps. Again, would have liked to see more out of TJ on 84% of snaps there. But, this is what he is. He's a big play monster. So even when you just get the 1 tackle and no sack, he helps you out with the interception there. So that's why we love TJ.
The best players find a way. And, he had disappointing day. Oh, he only scored 12.5 points. Oh, geez. They find a way.
Yeah. Larry Ogunjobi, the defensive tackle on the Steelers, 2 solos, 2 assists, a TFL. He got a sack and a QB hit. That's 12 points, 72% of snaps. He's always been kind of my favorite as the Cameron Hayward fill-in, but he's just incredibly lumpy, and he's never going to give you good consistency. I think this is his first sack of the year, maybe second. So yeah, they're few and far between. Cole Holcomb, a decent enough game, 3 solos, 5 assists. We'd like to see that kind of flip-flop there next time. A TFL for 12 points on 82% of snaps. We saw the other LBs not play that much in this game, so your Quan Alexanders and your Elandon Roberts of the world had duds in this one, unfortunately. The rookie, Nick Herbig, kind of stealing some stats from TJ Watt and Alex Highsmith here in this one. He had 3 solos, a TFL, a sack, and a QB hit for 12 points on just 18% of snaps. So in your redraft, he's, don't chase it. But Dynasty, I really like Nick Herbig because, TJ Watt is no spring chicken. And Nick Herbig looks to be, kind of next man up here. And I think he does. Yeah, I know he's not TJ Watt, but he possesses this ceiling. I mean, he's very much on the same level, I would say, as Alex Highsmith from a talent perspective. So I think whenever it is time that, TJ Watt moves on from this team or his career, Nick Herbig is absolutely a deep dynasty stash for sure. And I would not be, I would taxi him as long as you can. I would stash him as long as you possibly can. Don't throw him into a trade. You want to hold on to this guy. Big things in the future for Herbig. Christian Roseboom, the LB2 from the Rams, outdoes Ernest Jones in this one with 4 solos, 2 assists, a pass defended. That's 12 points on 53% of snaps. DeMonte Casey gets 11 points on 85% of snaps, the safety. Quentin Lake, the Rams' other safety, 10 points on just 49% of snaps. This is the second week in a row where he's been, giving us some really nice production on limited snap counts there, and out-producing Russ Yeast, and actually just barely beat Jordan Fuller in this one. So Fuller had 9 points on 100% of snaps. And you see right behind there, I got to mention my guy, Byron Young, a decent enough stat line for the rookie edge rusher, 3 tackles, a TFL, and 2 QB hits for 9 points, 95% of snaps. So, if we flick down some of the disappointments here, Ernest Jones, 1 solo and 3 assists on 81%. I'm not sure if the injury flared up at all. He's been questionable for the past 2 weeks, so we're not trending in a great direction for one of our other favorites, Ernest Jones, who started the year great, but now is battling this injury. So Christian Roseboom had been, not really someone to think about with a healthy Ernest Jones, is now someone you definitely need to keep your eyes on for the waiver wire, depending on Ernest Jones' status, or if you have bye weeks and whatnot, and you need some help. Roseboom could definitely be a guy to take over there. Alex Highsmith only gave us 2 solos on 78%. Again, Nick Herbig kind of stole the sack there. So better days to come for Highsmith. And I mentioned Quan Alexander and Elandon Roberts, both with low fantasy scores. Elandon Roberts, 28% of snaps. Quan Alexander, 69%. Nice, but not a nice fantasy score this week. So, hopefully he bounces back from a production standpoint. It is nice to see that he regains sort of those LB2 snap shares in this one, but just disappointing production. So I'll hand it over to you.
Yeah, so this is the first game for Ernest Jones that he's scored fewer than 15 points. So even with the nagging injury, Jones has been an absolute rock star. So obviously monitor how much he's practicing, but if he's playing, you're starting him. No questions asked. Along those same lines, obviously Aaron Donald, subpar game. We kind of already talked about. He's not the same Aaron Donald he once was, but again, getting a defensive tackle that's playing 86% of snaps, you'll take that any day of the week. So you are absolutely playing him. Also of note, Cole Holcomb did leave for a little bit with a foot injury. He did come back. I don't know what kind of things they can do to players, let them get back in after they're injured in the span of an hour. But monitor just to see, if he's going to be playing next week. Especially foot injuries like that, they're kind of difficult. So obviously he produced pretty decently in this game, but again, as you are always doing, you're monitoring, you're seeing what's going down. But just take a little look, see Cole Holcomb moving forward. Otherwise, freaking Michael Hocht. Is that how you say his name?
I say Hecht, Hocht, whatever.
Michael H. He continues to prove them their haters wrong. Like 93% snap share is so freaking high. Like especially that defensive end position. It's gonna be hard for someone like getting that much playtime to not fall into being some sort of IDP relevant every week, right? So if he's available and you need a defensive end, go ahead and get him. Like I feel pretty confident starting him as a DE2 pretty much anywhere at this point with that kind of playtime. Like I don't know, like that's nice. You don't really see that. Otherwise, I think you kind of nailed the overall hierarchy of this game. I love Larry O. Big Larry O. DT scoring a decent amount of points. I feel like he's been a perennial DT favorite. Just hasn't really shown up until today. I don't know. This is another one of those games. Like I feel like a lot of these
kind
games
of a weird one.
Yeah, there's weird like a lot of these high scoring points. Like Nick Herbig being scoring 12 points. It's like, what? On 18% of snaps? What the heck happened there? But I think the last thing I'll end on is just the Byron Young, 95% of snaps. Like that is not something to sneeze at. Like again, we're like, oh, Michael H getting 93%. That's a rookie getting 95% of snaps. And like that, the Rams are in this weird spot where we thought they'd be really bad this year, and then they kind of were better than we thought they'd be. But also they're kind of coming back to earth, right? Being kind of worse than we thought they'd be. So we kind of expected a lot of those rookies to get a lot of playing time. We have a lot of run to kind of figure out if, they're actually going to be something real. And, we really liked Byron Young coming out of the draft. And, we liked this spot for him. It's like, if he's going to be getting 95% of snaps, like you have to go at least get him and redraft. Like that's a perfectly fine bye week fill in. I'm not saying, because we know defensive ends, rookies, like it's hard to be consistent. It's hard to find those folks like a Myles Garrett or a Max Crosby, obviously, some of the best of the best, or even TJ Watt from this game that's going to fall into 12 points, right? But Byron Young, as someone that, sneaky bye week fill in is going to be there for you, get the play time and, not put up a goose egg, which is kind of what you're looking for.
Yepper. Another disappointment, just to point out, Aaron Donald, 4 assists and 2 QB hits. That was good for just 6 points on 86. So he continues to kind of see age catching up with him, I think, a little bit there. So, this was a little goofy one with just not a ton of IDP production to go around there. So, Arizona and Seattle is our next game. So Jordan Brooks, nice little, close to a monster game. 6 solos, 3 assists, 2 TFLs, a pass defended, a half of a sack, and a QB hit. All that goes for 22 points on just 70% of snaps. Right below him, thank goodness, we see Bobby Wagner back to life with 6 solos, 3 assists, nothing else. But hey, that's still 15 points, 100% of snaps. He was worrying us a little bit the past couple of weeks with some duds there. So nice to see him back into double digits at least. Daryl Taylor, the edge rusher, just 1 solo, 2 assists, but a TFL, a pass defended, 1.5 sacks, and 2 QB hits. That's 15 points on just 59% of snaps. I'll say probably don't chase that. This rotation, it's a different guy every week. It's Boy Mafe, it's Uchenna Nwosu, it's Draymond Jones, it's Jarran Reed. Like, it's just a different freaking guy every week, and it's impossible to predict. So unless you're desperate or playing really deep leagues, you're throwing these guys out as Hail Marys every week, and they're either going to give you 15 points or like 3 to 5 points. So as you're going to see at the bottom of the list there. Andre Charchere, who is cornerback eligible on MFL. We told you this before, and we told you this last week. A bit of a cheat code. He plays safety for the Cardinals, but he is a corner eligible. So, you know, we tried to tell you last week. We told you in the written content to go grab this guy, especially if you play on MFL. Total cheat code, and he rewards you with 6 solos this week. So that's 15 points with cornerback premium scoring in our IDP Invitational scoring on 100% of snaps. So we have to talk about this between him, the return of Budda Baker, and Kayvon Wallace disappears. So not great. I got to dig into that. Maybe as I'm continuing, you can research this a little bit. I don't know if there was an injury or if he just straight up got benched, because Kayvon Wallace turned in a 0 burger, and I don't think played any defensive snaps either. So something really strange going on there. We're going to have to dig into it. But for now, it looks like for this week, Andre Charchere was the cheat code in the home run here. So, Budda Baker below him also had 6 solos, 1 TFL, nothing else. But since he's not a cornerback in MFL, that was just 13 points on 100% of snaps there. A guy I had mentioned a handful of times in written content, a rookie, UDFA, Starling Thomas, the cornerback. In this one, plays 100% of snaps. So that's awesome for me to see. 4 solos, a TFL, and a pass defended. That's 13.5 points. Keep your eyes on him. Maybe don't go out and grab him just yet. But someone in your CB required leagues, I really like this kid. A guy that I rely on for tape watching, really liked him and called him out in the pre-draft process. He's a speedster. He's got special teams abilities if the Cardinals so choose to use him that way. And the fact that he just walked into 100% of snaps in week 7 is pretty interesting to me. So I'm keeping my eye out for Starling Thomas, the rookie corner. Garrett Williams, the other rookie corner, for the Cardinals, 2 solos, a pass defended, grabs an interception in this one for 13.5 points on just 43% of snaps, however. So I don't know that I would chase that. Jamal Adams, a nice little return here, ramps back up to 100% of snaps. That's great to see. 5 solos, 1 assist, and a pass defended, 13 points. Let's hope that he can keep this going and not get re-injured this year. Here's Boy Mafe, the other edge rusher. 2 solos, 1 assist, 1 TFL, a pass defended. He also got a sack, a QB hit for 13 points, 79% of snaps. So nice for the Seattle edge rusher, Boy Mafe there. Julian Love still relevant with 5 solos, 1 assist, 1 pass defended for 13 points on 91% of snaps. So we were really worried last week. We saw the snaps nosedive with Jamal Adams. This week, they pop back up, along with now Quandre Diggs is here at the bottom, but again, he plays that free safety role. So just 3 solos, 1 pass defended for 8 points, but 100% snaps. So this is kind of interesting. A 3-headed monster at safety here. What's going on? I'm not really sure. I don't know. We'll dig into these snaps, but this is an interesting one. We talked about Budda Baker's return. Devon Witherspoon, hey, for a rookie corner, 4 solos and 1 pass defended. That's 12.5 points, playing 100% snaps. I mean, he's giving you really nice production here. Kaiser White, he's an auto start for me. Kind of a down game in this one, but hey, 3 solos, 2 assists, 2 TFLs, a pass defended. That's still 12 points on 100% of snaps. I'm not too upset with that. He's given us some really nice games previously. I will call out Josh Woods, the LB2, seems to have that on lock in Arizona. 4 solos, 2 assists with nothing else. That was still 10 points on 87% of snaps. Zaven Collins still continues to be disappointing. Hey, he got a sack in this one. Hooray. But that's only 9 points still, 63% of snaps. He only had 1 solo, 1 assist, a TFL, and a QB hit, like all just kind of tertiary stuff on, no real production there outside of the sack. So, all right. Who do you want to talk about here?
Well, yeah, I mean, looking at these scores, this is one of those games that anyone you threw out there from either of these teams really did it for you. Obviously, Tariq Woolen has not lived up to last year's ridiculous breakout rookie campaign, if you call it a rookie campaign breakout. Still 5 points, but he's playing 100% of snaps. I love them. They're rookie cornerbacks. I don't know. I'm infatuated by them. So I love seeing Devin Witherspoon put up 12.5 points again on that 100% snaps. So he's definitely someone that I love streaming at cornerback. I think he's doing some good stuff there. Yeah, I don't know. I still can't put my finger on the Cardinals defense. I just don't know what to expect from them and who to even expect things from. I think the only one, and you mentioned him, Kaiser White, sort of like the only one that's like, yeah, I'm starting him, right? For the Cardinals on defense.
Right.
I don't know. The 3 cornerbacks scoring so highly, it's like, I don't love any of that. I mean, Budda Baker, obviously, came back pretty strong. I guess he's another one of those auto starts for me as well.
Yeah.
Like everyone else, like I'm not feeling confident rolling out Dennis Gardeck, who might be maybe only played 30% of snaps, but he's put up some pretty good stats all year. Zaven Collins just smells a little bit to me. Like I don't truly trust him. Like that's it for the Cardinals, right? It's like it's Budda Baker, Jalen Thompson when he's healthy, but obviously he's not. Budda Baker and Kaiser White, and everyone else, like I don't know. Even the cornerbacks, like it's so matchup dependent. Like, get out of here. Yeah. Meanwhile, I feel like Seattle, we have a pretty good pulse on, right? Like Jordan Brooks, Bobby Wagner, Julian Love, Boye Mafe. I feel like they're writing the checks that they can get. I'm blanking on the expression. Like they're the ones that you want to be doing well, and they are. Right. Oh, Jamal Adams is the one I was thinking of. So and they did it, and they did in this game. Like obviously, just very, I guess, average. Mm-hmm. Oh, well, looking at these scores, a lot of people scored close to 10 points in this game. So I guess it's average, but also it wasn't average because there's just a lot of freaking points scored. But yeah, I don't know how much there is to unpack in this game, other than you're playing the players that you want to be playing for both of these teams. And again, I don't trust the Cardinals. I just don't trust them.
No, you can't. After Kevon Wallace played 100% snaps almost from week 2 on, and then Budda Baker returns. I guess he's the immediate backup just to Budda Baker, and they don't want him on the field if Budda Baker's healthy because he played special teams, and that's it. So that's crazy to me. I might still be holding onto him just to see how things shake out. But Jalen Thompson also didn't play, so I guess Andre Charchere is the Jalen Thompson direct backup. So we're gonna have to monitor if he's coming back. Charchere might not be a cheat code after this 1 week either. But yeah, it's just a mess. You're starting Budda Baker and Kaiser White, and that's about it. Unfortunately, it looks like Uchenna Nwosu might need season-ending pec surgery. So that's why was down here at only 35% of snaps. So after I just said Darrell Taylor and Boye Mafe, and it's a different guy every week, with Uchenna Nwosu now presumably out of the picture, they become much more attractive, much more potentially safer options moving forward here. So definitely worth some consideration depending on the depth of your league for waiver wire pickups. So yeah, this safety situation is goofy and annoying to see Kayvon Wallace just plummet down to 0. Because even when Budda Baker was still healthy, Kayvon Wallace was getting playing time. So I'm very confused at what just happened here.
It's the Cardinals.
Yeah, that's Jonathan Gannon, man. He's a nut job. So yeah, and Zaven Collins stinks. I will stand by that for the rest of eternity. So yeah, I don't think any other crazy injuries to talk about on this one. So we are going to go to Green Bay and Denver. So this is another one where there wasn't really a lot of IDP meat on the bone either. So you can see our top scorer there is Green Bay cornerback Harrington Valentine, who did play 100% of the snap, but it was only 59. And on the Denver side, their 100% was just 64. So not a lot of defensive snaps to go around in this one. Probably, I assume, a lot of punting or just scoring in this one. It was only 17-19, but like field goals and whatnot. So he had 7 solos, 1 assist, and nothing else. And that was the top IDP scorer in this one. So kind of crazy. Alex Singleton, 6 solos, 5 assists with TFL. That's 18 points. Continues to play 100% versus his counterpart, Jersey Jewell, who had 5 solos, 5 assists, and nothing else, and continues to play 84%. So not really sure. I guess maybe Singleton has just won the job. I'm not really sure there. Isaiah McDuffie, the Devondre Campbell replacement, best Quay Walker in this one. He had 7 solos and 3 assists for 17 points on just 66% of snaps. So just 39 defensive snaps for all that production is very interesting there. So, as long as Devondre Campbell's out, Isaiah McDuffie is certainly worth a roster consideration and, is a Hail Mary starter every week for the most part, as long as Campbell is out. And Walker was also questionable in this one, but very nice to see Quay Walker return to 100% of snaps, although the production wasn't great. Just 4 solos, 1 assist, 2 TFLs for 11 points. But hey, I'm more concerned about seeing him back to 100% of snaps. We know about that ceiling. It's there. And, we had Isaiah McDuffie kind of eat into his production a little bit there. You'll see PJ Locke, a safety for Denver. He played just 23% of snaps, but did get an interception. So do not go chase his 13.4 points this week. Kareem Jackson, the safety, had 4 solos, 1 assist, and a pass defended for 11 points on 77% of snaps. Rudy Ford, the Packers safety, continues to best Darnell Savage for a few weeks in a row here now. So Rudy Ford, 4 solos, 3 assists, nothing else. But hey, that's 11 points on 100% of snaps. So he's someone I'm definitely interested in, going forward here as a, deeper league streamer at defensive back. I'm going to hop around here. Jonathan Cooper, no sack this week, but he did have 3 solos, 3 assists, and a QB hit. That's 10 points, 69% of snaps. Nice. I'm going to flip down to Nick Benito, just 2 solos for 4 points on 62%. So Benito and Cooper are essentially playing the same snaps. But we did see Ronnie Perkins, who is kind of like the Randy Gregory replacement, a younger guy. He did only play 34% of snaps, but ate into some of that production from the edge rusher position. He had 3 solos, 2 TFLs, and a QB hit. Ronnie Perkins is a very talented kid. He just, had a lot of injury issues coming into the league. I believe he was drafted on a torn ACL or a torn Achilles, something like that. So he's had to work back here for a couple of years. And he's someone I'm definitely keeping my eye on. We did see Baron freaking Browning return in this one to just 1 assist and 1 pass defended, 3 points on 45%. Again, not someone I'm worried about, eating into the production of Cooper or Benito. I honestly would be more worried about Ronnie Perkins, who is a supremely more talented edge rusher and football player than Baron Browning is. Beyond that, Zach Allen, another kind of meh game, 3 solos, 1 assist, and 1 QB hit for 8 points. Still, the snaps are there, 77%, but kind of a disappointing game. Oh, Rashawn Gary here checks in with just 2 solos, 1 assist, and 1 QB hit. So, it would have been nice if he converted that hit to a sack, but hey, these are the types of games he's going to have. 6 points on. Nice to see 68% of snaps. So we've seen him all year, kind of ticking up. So feels like that health is there, and the breakout is right around the corner. Justin Simmons, the safety, 2 solos, 2 assists for 6 points. Did play 100% snaps, so that's worth continuing to most likely roll out. Just kind of a down game. So, anybody you want to touch on here?
Yeah, Quay Walker, disappointing game, being 11 points. That's great. He's still the 9th overall linebacker in points per game. So, you're rolling him out there no matter what. It's funny you just mentioned Justin Simmons. I just looked him up because I'm of the same mindset as you. That's oh, yeah, he's doing pretty decent. He's the 48th points per game safety out there right now. I don't even know if he's somebody you roll out there. He gets the playtime. But other than those deeper leagues, I don't know. He was hurt a couple games. He was hurt a couple games, but still, it's not good. It's not
That's
good.
His points per game rank, not just overall.
That is his points per game. Just disappointing year. Well, let me make sure. Actually, it might have been sorting it wrong. Hold on. We're nothing but fair here. Oh, sorry. He goes all the way up. He goes all the way up to 45th.
Okay,
points per game.
Interesting.
So, I don't know. It's just not looking good. And he had 1 good game a couple weeks ago. Other than that,
right?
So no, in this game, I think you nailed it. The Devondre Campbell replacement there in Green Bay is worthwhile. I mean, the Packers' defensive scheme is always proven to be able to support 2 linebackers. I think it's without question, based on what we said, kind of Quay Walker is the new LB1, the smash play, and he offers the rare upside there where he has the pretty safe floor in tackles, but then he often shows up on the stat sheet with some sort of splash play. Didn't have that this game, but again, that floor of 10 or 11 points is really, really nice to have. Again, we eat our losses here. Yes, the Singleton and Josie Jewell fans in Denver had their day with us today. They both performed pretty well there in that linebacker spot. For Denver, yes, they did it. Hooray. I still like other people have higher upside. But I think that the main disappointment is Nick Benito. With the 4 points. 62% snap share, though, is really nice. He's definitely on the ascent. So those of you in Dynasty who've been holding on to him, he is going to show up for you, or at least he's going to have as many opportunities as he can possibly have to show up for you moving forward. Not really relevant in redraft at all, based off of the up and down nature of him in that spot, unless you're in one of those sicko leagues like some of us are in, where he still has some value there. But no, I think this game, again, odd IDP scoring game. I feel like we have a lot of those. Maybe that's just the nature of the beast of the types of leagues we play in, where hard to predict certain things. But there's not really many people that disappointed hugely, and then the players that we thought would play well sort of did. So yeah.
Another disappointment. Kenny Clark, the defensive tackle, I should say, not defensive end. 0 points, played 83% of snaps. So no injury there, just a 0 burger day. We did have a knee injury to Devontae Wyatt, so 3 points on just 17% of snaps. So Kenny Clark hopefully will start to give us some production if Wyatt misses some time, which it sounds like he will probably miss at least some sort of significant amount of time. So let's hope that Kenny Clark bounces back in those DT leagues. So. All right, our second to last game is the Chiefs and the Chargers. Taylor's just, good luck for this Chiefs team. The IDP scores here, though, are kind of meh, kind of top heavy this week. So L'Jarius Sneed takes another one in the W column against Trent McDuffie in this one. So he comes away with 22.4 points on 100% of snaps on the back of an interception this week. So really nice. Hey, Kenneth Murray's still doing really well. 7 solos, 1 assist, 2 TFLs, gets home for a sack, and gets a QB hit, 22 points, played 100% staff. So, hey, looks like he's going to be earning himself a contract somewhere next year. May not be probably with the Chargers, but, and for IDP bag holders, you're finally getting paid off after 4 years. Dean Marlowe, who fills in for Alohi Gilman again, kind of tough to see him missing so much time. But Marlowe, that his stat line is messed up. I don't know why he scored 21 points, but he played 100% of snaps. Actually, I do have it here. What did Marlowe do? That one is supposed to be a 10. So we're going to fix that right now live here. So 10 solos for Dean Marlowe, 1 assist, good for 21 points there. Would have liked that to be Derwin James numbers. As you can see, he's kind of down the list here. He only had 3 solos, 2 assists, did have a fumble recovery, kind of saving his day for 11 points on 100% of snaps. So
he's just like TJ Watt, right? Like he finds a way. It's like, oh, he only had 11 points. Oh no. Shoot.
I guess. It's just annoying when you see Dean freaking Marlowe have 21 points. Like, I wish some of that could have gone to James there. Hendricks with a really nice game as well. 7 solos, 2 assists, a TFL, and a forced fumble for 20 points. Just 87% of staff, so might be coming back a little slowly there from the injury. Brian Cook decides to be the top safety for the Chiefs this week. So 3 solos, 2 assists, a pass defended, and an interception. That's 16.9 points on 83% of snaps. Our guy, Michael Dana, last week it was 90% of snaps. So we saw the snap count go down, but this week was a much better matchup. We advised him as a good streamer, a good pickup for this week, during Bipocalypse. Even on the show, I helped out Joe Harlow do the waiver wire show this past week. And he hit me with Dana versus George Karlaftis. I said, give me Dana, give me those snap counts. I like George Karlaftis overall more, but this week in a 1-week vacuum, I said, give me Dana and those snap counts. It was a much better matchup than last week. And here we have him, 4 solos, 2 assists, a TFL, got home for a sack, and a QB hit. That's 16 points on, like I said, 73% of snaps. He's still seeing a ton of snaps, though, as a rotational edge rusher for the freaking Chiefs. So really nice. Willie Gay, 3 solos, 2 assists, a TFL, a pass defended, a sack, a QB hit. So chock full box score there for Willie Gay, 16 points, 52% of snaps, though. So a major production game on a typical snap share for Willie Gay, still really hard to trust. Charles Omenihu returns from suspension to get home for a sack with some other stat lines in there for 13 points, just 51% of snaps. So that's going to kind of possibly eat into Dana, definitely eating into Karlaftis. As you see, he does, he's down here for just 1 solo, 2 assists, a TFL. Karlaftis got a sack as well. Very nice. So 10 points for Karlaftis on 78% of snaps. That's right. There's Chris Jones, who had kind of a dud this game. Only 1 point. So Chris Jones, unfortunately, was the victim of the return of Charles Omenihu. Trent McDuffie, still 5 solos for 12.5 points on 100%. So we got to talk, unfortunately, about Drew Tranquil and Nick Bolton. Nick Bolton's going to miss some time. They both had 12 points in this one. Tranquil playing 46% of snaps, Bolton 75%, but he is going to miss some time. So as much as I hate to say it, Drew Tranquil is the direct backup and will be the top linebacker to want to own in Kansas City. So if you dropped him now that Bolton came back, go back and get him off of waivers here.
Yeah, and by missing some time, Bolton's requiring some, I think it's wrist surgery, out 2 months. Yeah. So missing some time. He's out for pretty much the rest of the relevant fantasy space.
Damn.
For most of it, right? Like, might be an interesting stash if you have the IR spot. But yeah, Tranquil's the main beneficiary there. I will still hold out for my Leo Chanel.
I know.
Go Badgers, but it's not going to be him. It's Tranquil and Willie Gay. But kind of like we mentioned with injury stuff, like Willie Gay's been getting the playtime anyway. Like this is kind of what he's been doing, right? Tranquil kind of fills in directly for Bolden, so he's kind of the guy you want.
Perfect. Yeah, not a whole lot else. The Chargers edge rushers, it's a bad matchup. We told you that in the written content. So all three of Tuli Pelotu, Joey Bosa, and Khalil Mack all had less than 6 points each in this one, which was kind of to be expected. As far as the snap shares breakdown, they're all pretty much on the same pace. Nice to see Joey Bosa back up to 59%. He was hovering in like the 30s, still giving us sacks, but of course against Mahomes, he's takes the least amount of sacks in the entire league. Khalil Mack played 66%, and Tuli played 57%. So pretty much an even rotation when it's all said and done there. So so the big thing is Drew Tranquil, Willie Gay will probably see an uptick. We see that he can be extremely productive despite his limited snaps. So if his snaps go up, he definitely has the possibility to outscore Tranquil on any given week, but Tranquil's gonna have the snaps afforded to him more so. So it's kind of tough. If you make me pick one, I still unfortunately have to say Tranquil, but Gay should be, someone to, if you're starting like 3 or 4 linebackers, he should definitely be on your radar as well going forward here. So same thing with the Menahue. We'll see if his snap counts get ramped up. If he doesn't have the sack in this one, he has kind of a cruddy stat line, but still someone who's talented and you got to pay attention to. So you got anything else for this one?
Nah, pretty much nailed it. I mean, you love the defensive backs there for Kansas City. We keep telling you, L'Jarius Sneed, Trent McDuffie going into this year. It's like, which one's going to be? Well, the answer is actually both of them. They both can be very fantasy relevant. Oh, man. Man, the Vikings are freaking doing it.
Really?
Okay. Yeah, I get one of these Monday night games during the podcast to talk about. And the Vikings are just taking it.
I love that.
Which is fascinating. It's fascinating.
Best team in the league. Go Birds.
Go. I don't even. There's no one else you can really say. Is there? Let's go someone else. But no.
Go Pats.
No. Well. The answer is both, which has been great. Like you love that consistency from especially the cornerback spot, right? Both of them being super relevant. I think the Bolton injury is the main one. Again, the Chargers, like Derwin James, is going to be fine. However, I did want to give you a little spot up pop quiz. Where do you think Derwin James is ranked in terms of points per game right now?
Oh God, he's probably below Justin Simmons. Outside of the top 50?
You got to give me a guess.
50.
He's 37. He's 37 for points per game. He is closer to 50 for overall points.
Okay. Because of the injury.
Like we're not big alarmists here, right? But in some of these redraft leagues, where you're looking to you got to win something. I don't know. You can probably find someone in waiver wires that is doing it right now, right? James is the king. He's going to be the guy. We know he is. But there's a lot of football left to be played. But I mean, you can take a week off from him if you can find someone that's doing it more consistently, just to help you get some points right off the bat. And then as soon as he shows signs of life again, obviously he's a must start. But I think he's definitely not a drop candidate. But again, maybe it's a hot take, but there's something to be said about the blind looking at numbers thing, where we love the Derwin James name, like he's always been the guy. So like you're always just plugging and playing him without actually taking that critical look. It's like actually he's been kind of trash for what we expected him to be. You know what I mean? Like kind of not good. So just keep your head in the swivel. Keep looking out there. Just always look for any opportunities. Don't drop them. But if there's something better right now, maybe play him. I don't know.
Yeah. All right. I was wondering if he was getting like maybe different alignment, but not really. He's kind of playing still his normal everywhere. Yeah, it's really interesting to see Dean Marlowe, who 54 of his snaps at free safety, just with all that production. Like It's kind of weird. Hey, you know what? For all my Derwin James owners, managers out there, I'll do you a favor. Hey, Derwin James, you suck. You're a bust. Boom. He's going to be awesome next week. You're welcome.
There you go. There you
Come
go.
thank me next week. Taken care of. It's taken.
We do everything for you here.
2 sacks,
We do everything here
10
for you.
tackles next week. No problem. All right. We are on to Miami and Philadelphia. Quickly to talk about here, we got to start this off. Big news, Kevin Byard. So the pipeline of Tennessee Titans stud players into the Philadelphia Eagles continues with Kevin Byard coming aboard for the measly price of Terrell Edmonds and a 5th and a 6th rounder. So I kind of love that. He immediately steps into even a better fantasy situation, I think. The Eagles linebackers continue to be a rotational mess. Nakobe Dean isn't playing up even close to, what did he have this week? 61% of snaps. Like, there's a shit ton of opportunity in front of Kevin Byard to just, rack up fantasy points. So if he's somehow on your waiver wire, like this change of scenery, I absolutely want him. See you, Terrell Edmonds. Sidney Brown was finally healthy, I think, for the first time all season. So he looks to possibly be the safety number 2 going forward. But, so he's someone to keep an eye on as well. But, like, I'm definitely not nearly as interested as now Kevin Byard, which also opens up my guy Amani Hooker for even more production. So I'm just like really excited about this all the way around for fantasy purposes and my team purposes. All right. So in this one, the top scorer. So Jerome Baker had an annoying, lucky pick 6, 6 solos, 5 assists.
Lucky pick 6.
Yeah,
that was the fantasy gods paying back for that not face mask call, and you know it.
Yeah.
And you know it.
Whatever. It bounced off someone else and just landed right in his hands, and he trots into the end zone. So annoying. So 34.2 points on 100% of stats. But hey, the 6 solos, 5 assists, like it looks like Baker is kind of on a roll now. So Baker and Long are doing this Levante David, Devin White dance where it's a different guy each week. And I don't know, it's kind of annoying. So this was a Baker week. Bradley Chubb had a really nice game with 5 solos, 2 assists, a TFL, 2 sacks, a QB hit, and a forced fumble. So that's 25 points on 90% of snaps. So really nice game for Bradley Chubb. Finally, this year we get a nice game out of him. Nobody was probably starting him though, so that's annoying. Play best ball scoring. Darius Slay, 4 solos, a TFL, 2 pass defended, had a really awesome interception, 23.6 points on 100% of snaps. Now you see the Eagles 100% was only 49 snaps available. So, kind of some depressed, especially linebacker scoring for the Eagles, while the Dolphins had 72 snaps to work with. So huge discrepancy there. Way more opportunities for the Dolphins players. We see Jalen Phillips, really nice to finally see him back up top here with 5 solos, 2 assists, a TFL, a sack, and 2 QB hits. Good for 19 points on 69% of snaps. Nice. Kader Kohu, the corner for the Dolphins, another really nice productive game, 6 solos and a pass defended. That's good for 17.5 points. He plays 100% of snaps and is a weekly consideration with the way, these Dolphins games are going. Like, they're going to be in shootouts pretty much all year long. So he's a really nice corner option going forward. We did see Terrell Edmonds, 8 solos, 1 assist. They kind of showcased him for the trade here, played 100% of snaps. He had a nice game, going to Tennessee, sharing the time now again with Amani Hooker. He's a very meh player to begin with. So this will probably be one of his better games this season. I don't know that this changes scenery. I mean, I guess if he walked into a starting role where previously when we had healthy Reed Blankenship and healthy Justin Evans, Terrell Edmonds wasn't on the field. He didn't play a single defensive snap. So I guess if he's walking into a starter's role in Tennessee, sure, you can hang on to him, but who knows if that's actually going to be the case or not. Maybe they go with one of the guys that has been there, knows their system a little bit better. That remains to be seen. So I'm probably not starting Terrell Edmonds next week, unless I'm super, super desperate. Josh Sweat, 2 sacks, 16 points, 78% of snaps. That's what he does. Eli Apple is having really, nice resurgence in Miami here. 4 solos, 2 passes defended, good for 15 points, played 100% of snaps. Christian Wilkins, a really nice game for him, a floor game at least. 2 solos, 4 assists, and a QB hit, and a fumble recovery for 12 points on 96% of snaps. I mean, he's another guy you're kind of forced to start him every single week. He's going to have down games. He's going to have really good games too. Andrew Van Ginkel, a decent enough game, 11 points on 60% of snaps. Javon Holland, a slight bounce back here. 5 solos, 1 assist, good for 11 points on 94%. It's kind of been, cooling off from his hot start, but he's still playing a ton of snaps. So I'm still kind of rolling him out there. Hassan Reddick, no sack, but hey, I'll take the 4 solos and the 2 TFLs for 10 points, 76%. If you would have told me give me a game where Hassan Reddick doesn't get a sack and he still scores 10 points, I'm very grateful for that. So, David Long, kind of a dud, 3 solos, 1 assist, 1 pass defended, just 9 points, just 51% of snaps in this one. You see Nolan Smith up here. He had a special teams tackle, a solo, a TFL, got his first sack, QB hit. So of course you're stashing him in your dynasty leagues. I talked about Sidney Brown, 94% of snaps, not a ton of production to go with it, but hey, that's a good snap share to take note of. We talked about Nakobe Dean, just 61% of snaps, not a lot of production. He was the best production wise out of the Philly linebackers. Zach Cunningham played 100% of snaps, but only 2 solos to go for that. Nicholas Morrow, just 39% of snaps. So I think we have the clear picture there. Dean will probably start to ramp up a little bit. Zach Cunningham is his, Robin technically, even though he's playing more snaps, but Dean, has the higher production ceiling. In a game like this, it's really tough. Miami's a tough matchup for linebackers. So I'll throw it to you.
Yeah. You love to see the Hassan Reddick sort of resurgence. The first 3 weeks, like we were talking, like worst case scenario, right? Like he's trash. He removes the. I keep thinking boot. Is that the boot for the hand?
Cast. Yeah,
he had the cast, and all of a sudden he's back, right? So again, you love to see those 10 points. He's absolutely a must start there. You also love to see the Jalen Phillips sort of resurgence. I mean, 69% of snaps is nice, but not nice. You have to assume that they're still sort of easing him back in. You hope they're easing him back in from his injury, because there's in no world would I expect Bradley Chubb to be playing 90% and Jalen Phillips only plays 69%. So I think the brighter days are ahead there, and obviously he made it work here. So I still think he's a smash start moving forward. Again, Christian Wilkins, maybe not. I'll look up his stats for this year. I feel like he's still not super crushing it. I'm so wrong. I'm so very wrong. He's the 3rd overall scorer, 3rd overall defensive tackle. Holy cannoli.
Yeah. He's well, that just tells you defensive tackles are just so volatile.
For total, 6th for points per game. So totally wrong there. He's always a smash start anyway. But in defensive tackle, well, I guess what I'm saying here, defensive tackle required leagues, obviously. We all do this smash start, but we were starting him anyway. For just defensive line leagues, you can probably do better, because there's some better people out there than him. And I think the other story for me here, Nakobe Dean easing back in, 61% of defensive snaps there at linebacker for the Eagles. We fully expect him to ramp that up, and be the linebacker we want him to be. But that's already enough, and the production that he put up, very limited. But I can't imagine he's going to be this limited again next week. So I do think he's just a smash start again next week, personally. Other than that, the Dolphins linebacker room just fascinates me. It's so hard to frickin' predict. You obviously love Baker getting 100% of them their defensive snaps, and David Long only getting 51%. Like, what happened? Like, what happened there? I don't know. So you play Baker because even without the surprising interception, right? Like it's still a pretty decent day. 11 combined tackles and a tackle for a loss. So I guess you have to keep rolling him and David Long out, but 51%, that's just not good enough for me. I don't know.
We'll see. I
keep rolling with who you have.
Yeah,
just don't go trading for anyone. And then the Davis and Carter defensive tackle spot there for the Eagles. Disappointing from an IDP perspective. The big strength of the Eagles, right, is the depth of the defensive line. So I know you'd be willing to maybe sort of fade them next week. Oh, except they're playing the heckin' Commanders.
Yeah,
give up the most sacks to anyone ever. So
that's what I was just gonna say. This was a very poor matchup in points allowed for Miami to these positions. So
so probably just looking at the straight play time, like probably Davis a little higher than Carter, even though we love where Carter's going, right, in terms of redraft. But again, this defensive line should eat next week for the Eagles. So roll them all out there, and then of course with our luck, Steve, they're gonna do nothing. Still win like 30-0, but like get
right. I don't know, man. The Commanders are pretty sack proof again. Like I would be shocked if at least 3 different players on this line didn't get a sack and probably like a safety. I bet you Kevin Byard comes in blazing and gets like a sack next week too.
Of course.
So yeah. All right. Well, that's week 7, guys. We're back. The OG host. I'm Steve Thompson, Dynasty Santa on Twitter. Come, slide in those DMs if it allows you. I don't think it allows you if we don't follow each other. But hey, if you need any questions, I'm there for you. But don't wait till the last minute, because if you want last minute access, that means you're going to need to be a subscriber to the IDP Guys. So you need to head on over to www.idpguys.org, sign up, become a subscriber, use our code here from this show, IDP Plus Pod. That'll give you 10% off if you want to, go for the rest of the season, give us a chance for just maybe a month, see if we can help you manage your teams. You get access to the written content articles, which are amazing. A lot of detail, a lot of good digestible information with charts such as you see up here on the YouTube. So if you're listening, you're going to want to come over to YouTube or become a subscriber using the IDP Plus. That's a plus sign pod code, promo code for 10% off. So Matt, I'll leave it to you.
Yeah, and if you want all this data that we're showing off on our YouTube channel and you don't want to write it down or take screenshots while we're scrolling through it, we have a bunch of really awesome tools there at the IDP Guys site that you get access to when you become a subscriber. And a lot of the sneaky truth is, if you just follow this data, like you can be an analyst too, right? So if you become a subscriber, you get access to all this really cool stuff. We'll help guide you. We can teach you what you need to sort of look for, but you can do all this right there with us. So become a subscriber. Week 7, I truly don't know where the NFL season as a whole is going. I know we have a few good teams, but the 49ers just lost to the freaking Vikings at home, which is just fascinating. Who knows anything? I certainly don't. All the 1-5 teams won this week. It's weird. But we're here to help you walk through, and we'll figure out this mess. Together. I will be gone next week again, traveling for work. So Steve is going to have mystery guests. We're going to leave you hanging there, but they'll take care of you. And we're in this stretch run here to those playoffs push. Like, it's hard to say it's already, or it's crazy to say we're already there. Like week 8, like we're talking, final maybe third to a half the season to make those playoffs. So let's do it.
It's funny, this is the time where you'll see, kind of content numbers dropping off and stuff, but it's almost like the most important time. The bye weeks are kicking in. I guess that many people might just be out of their leagues and not, invested in content anymore. So I get that. But it's kind of interesting to see how that happens, because these are some of the most important weeks, some of the most important information that we're trying to give you here, analysis that we're breaking down. This is the time we can really help you win your league. So this is the time to jump on board outside of anything else. And real quick, I mean, how many of our subscribers have now jumped in to helping us produce content? It's been at least 3 or 4 of them. So, I mean, if you even are interested in, doing content about IDP, you should come on board as a subscriber, and you might be able to transition into, doing content with us here as part of our content staff. So just another cool thing that the IDP guys bring you, and gals, I should say. We have, we have some people on staff that, women who are into IDP as well, and just, crushing content as well. So,
absolutely.
Shout out to Brittany there. So, yeah. So, all right, everyone, we will see you next week for week 8.
Thank you for watching this IDP guys video. If you like this content and you want more fantasy football content, click here. If you enjoyed this video and you want to see more videos to help you master your IDP league, click here to subscribe.